When people think about children's cartoons from the 1980s, they often remember action-packed adventures such as Transformers and He-Man. These shows were filled with battles, villains, and larger-than-life heroes. However, not every cartoon of the decade followed that formula. One series took a very different approach, focusing on friendship, teamwork, and kindness. That show was the Get Along Gang. Premiering in 1984, the Get Along Gang was based on a line of greeting card characters created by American Greetings. The concept was simple but effective. Rather than focusing on superheroes or magical powers, the show centered around a group of animal friends who lived in a place called Green Meadow and worked together to solve everyday problems. The gang met regularly at their clubhouse, a colourful train caboose that served as their headquarters. From this cosy base, they embarked on adventures that taught important lessons about cooperation, honesty, and understanding others. The group consisted of several memorable characters, each with their own distinct personality. Montgomery Moose was often seen as the leader of the gang. He was responsible, dependable, and always willing to help his friends. Dotty Dog was cheerful and optimistic, while Wilma Lamb was kind-hearted and caring. Bingo Beaver was energetic and enthusiastic, and Portia Porcupine was intelligent and organised. Together, the characters represented different personalities and strengths. This allowed young viewers to relate to at least one member of the gang while learning that everyone has something valuable to contribute. Unlike many cartoons of the era, the Get Along Gang rarely focused on defeating villains. Instead, episodes typically revolved around everyday challenges. Misunderstandings, disagreements, jealousy, and personal mistakes often formed the basis of the stories. The gang would work through these problems together and learn valuable lessons along the way. This educational approach made the show stand out. It wasn't trying to sell action figures or impress audiences with spectacular battles. Instead, it encouraged children to think about how they treated others and how friendships could be strengthened through communication and cooperation. The animation style was bright, colourful, and welcoming. Green Meadow felt like an idealised community where everyone knew one another and where friendship was the most important value. The animal characters were expressive and charming, helping younger viewers connect with them emotionally. One of the most appealing aspects of the Get Along Gang was its positive tone. The series presented a world where problems could usually be solved through understanding rather than conflict. While that might sound simple, it provided an important message for young audiences. The show arrived during a period when children's television was becoming increasingly commercialised. Many cartoons were designed primarily to promote toy lines. Although the Get Along Gang also had merchandise associated with it, the series itself focused heavily on storytelling and character development rather than action sequences. Unfortunately, the show's run was relatively short. While it developed a loyal following, it struggled to compete with larger action-oriented cartoons that dominated Saturday morning television. As a result, it never achieved the same level of long-term popularity as some of its contemporaries. Despite this, many people who watched the series as children remember it fondly. The characters, colourful setting, and positive messages left a lasting impression. For some viewers, the Get Along Gang represented a gentler style of children's entertainment that has become less common over the years. In recent years, nostalgia for 1980s television has led many fans to rediscover forgotten shows, and the Get Along Gang is often mentioned as an underrated gem. Viewers revisiting the series frequently comment on its wholesome nature and the positive lessons it taught. Looking back, the Get Along Gang may not have been the biggest cartoon of the 1980s, but it achieved something equally valuable. It encouraged children to be better friends, to work together, and to appreciate the differences that make each person unique. More than 40 years after its debut, that message remains just as relevant as ever. While many cartoons from the era are remembered for their action and excitement, the Get Along Gang deserves to be remembered for something different. Its belief that friendship and cooperation can solve almost any problem.
And that wraps up this episode of Retro Rewind. If this brought back some memories, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who loves a bit of nostalgia. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next Rewind.